Hello, fellow creators, entrepreneurs, those of you who are self-employed or on the path to become self-employed independents. I'm speaking to you, or potentially people like yourself, or those who are trying to understand people like yourself, certainly people like me. I wanted to talk today about an exercise I've recently run through, something that I do on a semi-regular basis, especially when I'm, picking up the prospect of beginning something or better recognizing my position in terms of a project or a business effort. SWOT. SWOT, a SWOT analysis. And I know that sounds potentially very scary, but it's very simple. In fact, if you can't easily walk through a SWOT analysis for your idea, within an hour, and I don't just mean like in-depth stuff, I mean, that may take some time, but if you don't have a firm grasp on what those letters stand for, I'm not sure you're really in a position to execute very effectively on whatever idea or project or thing that you happen to be running a SWOT analysis on. Simple to do. Strengths, weaknesses, opportunity, and threats. You chart this out a variety of ways. I just walk through, if I'm not doing it on a whiteboard, which is very rare. I'm just using a document, and I do 4 sets of bullet points. I keep them separated and kind of flesh things out. And usually it takes not too long of a time for me to be able to walk through my strengths. What in relation to the project, what are its strengths in terms of how I would approach that particular thing, that project, that business idea. What are my strengths in how they relate specifically to the project? What are my weaknesses or the potential product's weaknesses? Because if you have strengths, you're going to have weaknesses, and the onus is on me, and this is my choice, but I try to come up with, if I have 3 strengths, I'll come up with 3 weaknesses, and sometimes I have to think through it. I'm like, there are definitely weaknesses, because you have to know where your weak spots are, because you got to know what you do well, and you also have to know what you don't do well in order to effectively better manage your particular idea. Then you have opportunities. So these are like a cross point where the marketplace has a need that's not being served the way that you would want to serve it. You'd be able to serve it differently, or generally, something that's going to make that product, that idea, something that people are going to want. What's the opportunity to have this succeed? What are some gaps that could be filled by your particular idea in the marketplace in terms of how you approach it, or just your idea in general? And of course, the more specific you are to your execution in the idea, the better grasp you're going to have on the execution of the idea. So knowing what the opportunities are in the marketplace is also pretty critical to your success. Then threats. This is another one that's not always easy to think about, but you have to think about the dangers. What are the threats to your particular approach, your business model, your idea? This is where you may think of competition. And if you sit there and say, I have no competition, that's an amazing idea, because every idea has probably got some degree of competition. This isn't necessarily just about competition, though. It's about threats to the business model. What could happen realistically that would derail your goals? So SWOT, SWOT, it's a simple exercise. I'd say it's important. I don't know if I'd go as far as to say critical, but even if you've been doing something for a long time, sometimes stepping through the process of a SWOT analysis could help recenter you and refocus you on accomplishing goals that could lead to success in however you determine success. So doing a SWOT analysis isn't just for those who are just beginning. It could be for those who have been running for a while as well. Every so often, you kind of have to take stock in what's working and what isn't. And if you end up seeing that, wow, there's no model that I can build around my strengths and opportunities that isn't outweighed by threats and weaknesses. So even if you just use this as a personal exercise, like what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses, what are some opportunities for your your particular brand to exist in the marketplace? What are the threats to your existence in this marketplace? Even if it's not for a particular idea and it's just about you, it's not a bad idea. If anything, you have to be truthful. You have to challenge your convictions and really test the mettle of your idea's validity by running it through a SWOT analysis. So if you've never heard of SWOT before, look it up. If this made no sense to you, because I'm sure there have been books written on them, you don't need a book. You just need a pen and a paper or a pencil, if you're so inclined, or a stylus or a finger, or whatever you use to input characters into some thing or on something, and write them out. SWOT. Strengths, weaknesses, threats, or opportunities, threats. SWOT. 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 It's what it stands for. It's why it's important. Thought I'd let you know. If you're interested in having me help you walk through your own SWOT analysis, if you need a little guidance, be happy to do so. I do provide personal advice, or more personalized advice for entities, business entities, individuals, agencies, brands, entrepreneurs, creators, whoever, however, whatever label you have. If you have the need, I may be able to fulfill it. Head over to CreatorAdvocate.com for more information on that. At this point, however, I'm going to wrap up and have you start your own SWOT analysis. I expect to see you do your work. That's your homework. You can do it. You can choose not to do it. It's up to you. I love you. I appreciate you. At this point, I'm going to leave you to your own devices. May the force be with you.